Hello and welcome back, Transformer TCG fans. We're getting back into base cards. Okay, I believe we left off like Stuck Space Bridge, Styx, Spy in the Sky, Sentinel, and all that stuff. So we're into S's. We're in my file number 4. We're getting near the end. There's one more file left after this, but we're at the bottom of file 4, and hopefully I think we'll be able to get through some cards here on this video and maybe the last handful on the next video for file 4, and that'll be 36 cards, maybe 35 for because one was well, I don't see it anymore, maybe anyway, about 36 base cards here. So let's keep going. We last left off at Styx, which is it was an image from one of the comic books. I forgot which one, and I think that is the name of that. It's actually a ship. I didn't put the word ship on that base card, so it cannot work with space debris. Because it wasn't in space debris. Yes, when this scraps a ship-based base card. So if space debris knocks out a previous base card with the word ship in it, even starship will work because the word ship is in starship. Well, I'll allow it. Then that will trigger space debris. But let's get on to Sumdac Tower. Okay, I'm trying to keep my energy up to be able to talk a little quicker here, and so as a result I end up my voice is a little louder. So it is Sumdac Tower is a base card that is white and green. Only specialists can get this on the flip while this card is in the battlefield. So if you have any question when this happens, when this is in effect, go back to line 1 while this card is in the battlefield. So when a player flips at least a white pip for battle, the player scraps 2 battle cards just flipped. So yeah, you're gonna if you flip orange, white, green, orange, let's say, so you flipped at least a white for battle and you flipped those 4 cards. Now you have to scrap 2 of them. And maybe I should put in here before adding damage or something, but yeah, the effect is immediate. The player scraps 2 battle cards just flipped, just as this says. So if you want to give up the green, then you scrap the green. If you don't want the white, then you scrap the white. You've already gotten the effect of flipping 2 more from the white. So you only have 4 cards there. You have to scrap 2 of them. So before adding for damage. So maybe I need to add that on here. Maybe we'll do that. In the meantime, this is also going to prevent a certain card from being played, which is field communicators cannot be played by either player. Okay, so there's a little typo there. So yeah, I'm gonna have to re-get this back into Paint 3D. And yeah, so I will go ahead and adjust the text on here. The player, when a player, so that includes you who played the base card, that includes your opponent who's also, if they flip a white, they do 2 more, say they even got a lot of bold and they have flipped 8 cards for battle before adding up damage, they're gonna have to scrap 2 cards. They got a lot of orange there and not much else, then they're gonna have to scrap it. Two of those cards. If it's maybe something a hybrid, hey, it's like let me just get the rid of this hybrid. There's no orange here or something, whatever. Whatever's in the best to the player's advantage, either player. And the good thing about Sumdac Tower is, yeah, there's that part of it, but you're going to also help prevent field communicators from being played. But it also means you can't play them either. And if you have this in your deck, only specialists can get this on the flip. So if you have specialists on your team to be able to get this on the flip, you're not going to be able to put field communicators on them either while this card is in the battlefield. So that is Sumdac Tower. Which is from the animated, just a hilarious show. If you haven't seen Transformers animated, watch it. Super Superbot is also white and green, but it's plain. This is before they forced the Autobots in car mode and they couldn't fly, or if they flew, they had to use a jetpack. In Blue Streak and Ironhide are flying through the air. One of the earlier episodes. Each Autobot has the plane trait while in bot mode. When a player flips an Autobot to bot mode, maybe I should put they, or the player may add an upgrade to that character. I have you on here. That would imply the person that played the card. So yeah, crap. Well, let's do that. The player may add an upgrade to that character. So there's that. So yeah, we got that fixed. And this is also another. So what is this going to do in Grillenheimer? Well, it's going to help to allow you to be able to have Autobots in bot mode have the plane trait. So if you have plane traded battle cards or upgrades that can only go on a character with the plane trait, you can add this into your base card, into your deck, to be able to utilize those cards better, quicker, without having to go to alt mode or flip to alt mode. Go ahead and get them on there, etc., etc. But yes, that affects your opponent as well. If they are playing Autobots, and if those Autobots are in bot mode, or etc., whatever. If you're breaking the 25-star limit and you have maybe 35, 50 stars, and you have a lot of characters, a lot of different teams maybe, or whatever, and it really going for some wild, long-term strategy gaming with this, this could be interesting. Maybe fun, maybe dangerous, but interesting. In the meantime, white pip upgrades, which also includes field communicator, cannot be played by either player, but all white pip upgrades cannot be played by either player. When? While this card is in the battlefield, which is not on here. I'm going to have to update Superbot. So Surf's Up is black and green. On the flip, only boats are going to be able to get the Pierce. Anybody can get this on the flip. Each Autobot has Pierce 1 until end of turn. That's small, I know, but Pierce all adds up. Each Autobot has the boat trait while in bot mode. So just as Superbot gave Autobots in bot mode the plane trait, Surf's Up is going to give them the boat trait in bot mode. Well, what does that do to the opponent? The same thing. The same thing. They're playing Autobots. You played Surf's Up to help pad your blue-black decks, maybe. They're gonna be able to take advantage of this too. And remember, and if they're playing Autobots or some in their team, they got to remember. Oh yeah, I got Pierce 1 off your Surf's Up. So there's that. But Scraplets can't be played by either player while this card is in the battlefield. I really appreciate every single one of y'all being a part of this channel and subscribing to this channel. For all y'all that have yet to subscribe, that enjoy the Transformer content here, or anything else in the playlist, as much of a plethora of stuff that's here, whether you like it or not. If you're here for the Transformers, that's great. I appreciate every one of y'all. If you haven't already, please subscribe down below. Throw Scraplets at the like button, and let's continue. And as a side note, I am not monetized. I don't plan to be monetized. I don't want it. And plus, we're dealing with properties that I don't own. I'm just having fun. Not looking for any money here, guys. Not looking for any handouts or anything. That's how this keeps going. Okay. Thanks for watching. So Temporary Med Bay is up next. It is a white. A lot of these are white and green today. Have you noticed? Now we're into T's. Temporary. The word temporary. While this card is in the battlefield, at the start of turn, a player may repair 1 to 1 of their characters. I'm glad I'm saying this out loud because I'm seeing a few things I got to correct, which means I've got to put them through 3D again and add the base stuff, the base card little green part where, because they're basically action cards, and I'm changing an action card into the base card in Paint 3D. Medic cannot be played by either player. So you attack your enemy, they have damage. The ending of your attack begins their turn. This bumps. Whether you played it or they played it, and this is on the field, they can now even repair 1 to the character you just damaged. Okay? Who knows? They might knock this out. That gets triggered first. They can play a base card before. Remember, play base cards before you draw for turn. And so there's that part of there. So end of attack, base card triggers because it's now the opponent's turn. Boom, they can knock it out. Then they can knock it out. Then they can knock that out if they have a base card to knock it out with, or an action card, or a secret, one of the secret actions, or something else. Because I have ways of helping to get stuff knocked out, base cards knocked out. So there is that. So at the start of the turn, the player may repair 1 to 1 of their characters. They have a base card, they can knock it out at that point. Medic cannot be played by either player. So, medic is, remember, a blank pip card that repairs 2. Okay. And that is an uncommon. The next one is Termination Sequence, and it's kind of, this will look familiar. If you've been with me a while, this is going to sound, because originally I had this as a stratagem. Not a stratagem anymore. This is a base card, and I like this. This is interesting. So it's a green pip only. It's a rare. At the start of turn, do 1 damage to each character on the battlefield for each counter on this. Well, it's the start of turn. I don't have a counter on this. When a player has a character put in the KO, put a counter on this. So this might be a base card you want to play, and this can always get knocked off. This can easily get knocked out by another base card or by your opponent or whatever. So when a player has a character and it gets KO'd, it doesn't matter which side. Counter goes on Termination Sequence. Then boom, the start of turn. Do 1 damage to each character on the battlefield. Each character on the battlefield? Mine and theirs? Yes. Yes. This is going to hurt. This is bigger than, say, Cybertron's Asteroid Belt, which I think does 1 damage to 2 characters at the start of turn. So, but if either one of y'all are 1 tall, not a big deal. Either way, okay? Okay, that's all I got to say about that. So do 1 damage to each character on the battlefield for each counter on this. So whether you have characters in the KO, they have a character that gets KO'd, that's what gets counters on this base card. Not my counter cards, but the action while this is in the battlefield. Read the top line. When a player has a character put in the KO. So they can't already be in the KO to get a counter on this. That action has to happen while this card is in the battlefield. So if you think you have a character on the verge of being KO'd, you have this in your hand, and it's your turn, you can play it, draw for turn, and attack, and maybe have that character attack to be vulnerable. They have, unless they have another character they can choose from, they're going to have to go into that character to KO it if they haven't already knocked this out on their turn. So there's a lot of poker. There's a lot of banking on what your opponent's going to do. There's going to be not so much strategy, but more like, oh gosh, I hope this doesn't get knocked off, or knocked out for this to happen. So there's that possibility. If they're not playing base cards, it's not going to be knocked out. But they attack your character, it gets KO'd. Now you can put a counter on Termination Sequence. And then as a result of that, that's the end of their turn. Your character gets KO'd. A counter goes on Termination Sequence. You start your turn, bumps Termination Sequence. Everybody gets hit. Okay? And if you want to go ahead and you have another base card and you want to knock this one out, and you're like, whoa, that was big. And remember, cards like this, the Sigar can help prevent non-attack damage. We have some from a base card. We have some other cards that also can prevent non-attack from other cards, such as base cards, action cards, whatever. Any non-attack damage. We have something official. I think, what is it? Stable cover, heavy cover, et cetera, et cetera. So there's that. Boom. What do you think? I like it. It's strong. That's why it's a rare. That's why there's no pip, just the green pip on here, which is standard for every base card. Yeah, I know. Maybe I should have something else on here to designate its power, but at the same time, it's a gamble. That's the word I'm looking for. It's a gamble because of the nature of playing it to hope it gets triggered and hope it's not taken out before it's triggered again to hit everybody, because your opponent did knock out or KO the character in order to get this going. Okay, so there's a lot going on here. It's an kind of a base action, if you will, to trigger. Okay, so it's really setting up the dominoes in a certain way to go, hey, it's kind of like a trump card. And if it stays out there, this could end the game. I won't say easily, but maybe a little quicker. You never know. You may end up knocking out one of their battle masters, and now their battle master is, well, that doesn't even work, because the battle master doesn't get KO'd. It doesn't go into KO. That's why I put that specifically in here. But it may actually help them get battle masters on their characters if they're playing that way. So you never know. You just never know. Went a little too long on Termination Sequence, but it's a neat card. It feels needed. It feels necessary. Originally, like I said, I had that as a stratagem. Originally, I think this works better, considering, stratagem is always in play. This is not always in play. Even if you at least get one counter on it or two before it's just knocked out, hey, you'll have some satisfaction from it. And we have a few cards again, I'm repeating myself, that helps prevent non-attack damage. The Ark. Not a ship. This is not going to work in conjunction with Space Debris at all. The Ark is a blue-green pip base card. Only leaders can get this on the flip. Each Autobot has stealth while in bot mode. Each Decepticon has -2 bold until end of battle. You'll notice I didn't use the word oppress here, because I was not using the word oppress when I made this. This is one of the first dozen base cards I made was the Ark here. So, and a character, a nice reminder text, a character cannot have bold less than 0. And because we have so many ways of getting bold, from supercharge, from actions to upgrades, if your enemy, your opponent, or if they have they have to have Decepticons. If they're not playing Decepticons, you're not going to get that -2 bold to help you. If they have, I don't know, a flamethrower on, a brass knuckles on, and playing a supercharge all at the same time, that's what bold 7. Crap, et cetera, et cetera. So that would just knock it off down to bold 5, not even including any bold on the actual characters themselves. So there's that. Let's look at one more, the Ark. So that was all of the Ark. Yes. And when I said stealth, it's stealth, which means tapped and untapped. But they have to be in bot mode. They can only be Autobots. So if you're playing a mixed faction, Autobots, mercenaries, Autobots, and Quintessons, Autobots, and Decepticons, et cetera, et cetera. Only the Autobots in bot mode are going to get that stealth. And let's look at one last one. The Ark Deep Past. It is not completely finished. It is orange and green. Each Maximal and Autobot has +1 to defense for battle. Reduce your enemy's total pierce by 2 for battle, and then just the dumb reminder: a character cannot have pierce less than 0. Maybe I can take that off. And that's really all that's here on this one. Let's make this green. Let's make this. Let only the Maximals get that on the flip. The Ark Deep Past. Deep Past. It's hard for me to say. And so each Maximal and Autobot has +1 to defense for battle. I have that in the text. I'm using this from an upgrade side to show you the reminder of that +1 to defense on the bottom of the base card itself. So it's not additional. It's not additional defense. It's just to signify, hey, there's defense on this card. And you need to read up there who it's going to help. Maximals and Autobots. Okay? So, and you're going to be able to reduce pierce. Only thing is this works both sides of the table. It's going to help you. It's going to help them. So, again, I have another, what was that other card that I have that also reduces pierce? Human Distraction. That's right, Human Distraction. And I've tried playing that in a few decks, and I'm like, I don't like having that in my deck because it helps my opponent as well as me. And I'm like, I don't know if I like this or not. So, but the point of this one is at least you're also going to get some defense off of it. But then Pierce always gets the defense. And it's just +1 in defense. And plus the reduction of Pierce might help you some. Everything is very incremental here. I'm trying not to overdo it. So that's all we have time for today. So we got to go over Sumdac Tower, Superbot, Surf's Up, Temporary Med Bay, Termination Sequence, the Ark, and the Ark Deep Past. With Temporary Med Bay might really work well in conjunction with my RC chamber. I think CR chamber, RC. I swear I'm not dyslexic. My son is, to some extent. CR chamber. The CR chamber, if you remember, is an upgrade that at the start of turn, repair one to the character. So you can get repair 2. Since it's a utility, unless you're playing extra. Buddy made an armor card, I think. Extra. Oh, I've got it up here. I'll put it up here. That allows you to wear 2 utilities at the same time, which is dangerous. Oh my gosh, it's dangerous. He's played it when we used to play together. And being able to have more than one utility on a character, as we all know from what Wave 4 Optimus, is scary. It's very dangerous. Extra measures, that's what he called it. So yeah, you could have Temporary Med Bay in play. You could have an extra measures as an armor and a toolbox and my CR chamber on a character. Ouch, we broke the game. So, but then you're going to have a lot of printing to do, finding these cards and going, do I really want to do this? Is it worth it? Maybe. So things to think about. You know, vaporize their utilities, crushing size their utilities. So with all the utilities that I make and all these base cards in conjunction with everything else, this especially even zap with the Allspark. What you can see what I'm trying to do. I'm really trying to help incorporate older cards and bring them back into the fold for having another, not just a purpose, but having them more relevant back into the game. And just like, this is a dumb card, I don't play this anymore, and get it back into the fold and actually have a reason to have zap, or a reason to have crushing size or something, because the crushing size can knock off one of my Power Masters. It is a white pip card, so could you play that if something like crushing size is a utility, right? As long as it's a utility, it cannot be played if Superbot is in play, whether it's your base card or theirs, because it's a white pip upgrade, if I remember correctly. So there's that. Making sure everything is integrated fairly well makes somewhat sense. Trying to keep it within the logic of the game, if not the complete rules of creation, while making sure it doesn't overpower too much. But with the right calculated deck, you could do some real damage or a lot of healing or a lot of repair with something as temporary med bay, CR, the CR chamber, toolbox, and that's not even medic because it does not allow you to play medic. Okay, so things to think about. We went way over time. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. And as always, throw scraplets at the like button if you like this content. We'll see you next time. And as always, have a blessed day. And Autobots, let's flip out and let's roll for it.